So happy Monday. So much excitement. Does anyone have any questions about anything? Any other questions? So I think today will be the last official lecture. Well, this one right now. We don't need a lecture at 1700 hours unless you guys really want it. You know, if somebody says, I really want a lecture at 1700 hours, we can have one. But it's, you know, it's optional at this point. We've covered all the essential material. And I just thought I would go over some revision advice and hints and tips if anybody's interested. Is anybody interested? Maybe. So the first item that I would recommend everybody look at when they're revising. Oh, and by the way, we do have one more week of lectures. However, the Monday we return, which I think is May 8th or something, it's a holiday, so we miss the Monday lectures that week. That's why I'm talking about this now, as opposed to that week, the week we return. But just for you guys, as a service for you guys, I put together a spreadsheet of all the important terms that you need to know for the exam. So here it is, and it's also on Blackboard, a copy of it. And it's divided into different categories. One's called introductory topics, another is called information visualization, another is called volume viz, another is called flow visualization, and then there's a special column called algorithms and processes. And that just takes out some of the more important algorithms and processes that are highly likely to appear on the test or have appeared on previous tests. So you can sort of get a whole overview of the module just on this spreadsheet of all the terms. So when you're, revising and looking at these terms, you might want to just check, with yourself, do I understand this term? Do I know this term? And so on. Some things that are worth pointing out, just to confuse you, some things have two names or more than one name. So for example, the pattern of knowledge evolution is also called the knowledge evolution pipeline. So it has two names. Same thing, with two names. And that happens a few times in this spreadsheet. Like the conceptual volume visualization framework is also called the volume visualization pipeline. So two names for the same thing. And where else? So these three terms are all the same. That's not my fault. These three terms are all the same, for example. What else? And these are all the algorithms and processes, like the knowledge evolution pipeline, the visualization pipeline, the tree map construction, parallel coordinates construction, glyph design, interpolation, the volume viz pipeline, marching squares, marching cubes, raycasting, the raycasting pipeline, the shear warp algorithm, the streamline integration, evenly spaced streamlines, stream streak surface construction, and the line integral convolution algorithm. Those are the major algorithms and processes. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to raise your hand or interrupt at any time. Name?
Revision lecture after that is
Well, our lectures are canceled for that in the revision week because that Monday is a holiday in the UK. If you guys really want a revision lecture, I can try to schedule one that doesn't clash with all the other lectures. Name? Can you tell us your name before
Yes,
you?
Alex.
Alex.
It's about assignment 3.
Yep.
You said the paper, the thing would ask you.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's the same for everyone.
It's different for everyone. That's the idea. Yeah. If you want, you can look at my webpage, click on publication lists, and choose any FlowViz research paper on there. That's where I get them. But you have to confirm it with me first and just make sure, oh, is this one okay? Can I choose this one? Yeah. So assignment 3 is optional. If you are unsatisfied or want to raise your scores on assignments 1 and 2, then you do assignment 3. That's the idea. And you can like ask for a paper and then decide if you want. But if you submit the assignment, it does get scored and it does get averaged. You can't choose like after you get your score, okay, I want this included or not. Any other questions? Some more resources. This is like Resource Central in this module. It's crazy. It's crazy. These are all essentially test questions and answers. All of these right here. So if you are, for example, this is how this whole thing got started. In 2016, I was traveling around. I was in Texas and then I was in Florida, and it was during exam revision time. And students started sending me email with questions about exams and exam questions. And like I said, there's no way I could answer those with text. Like, how am I going to explain parallel coordinates construction in a text message or an email message? I don't know. So I decided, I was in Texas or Florida, I can't remember, and I just said, okay, I'm going to get out a whiteboard and record the answer, and boom. And that's how it started. And since then, I've recorded the answer to every test question that exists, except for maybe this year's tests. So there's a playlist called Visualization and Related Questions and Answers. I encourage you to have a look at that for your test revision. I summarize a lot of the algorithms. Well, I summarize all of the algorithms on a whiteboard. And if you can reproduce something like that or similar to that on your test, you'll get a distinction on your tests. So somebody said, can you please summarize the shear warp algorithm for me? And so I got out a whiteboard and I summarized it. And somebody said, can you please summarize the ray casting algorithm for me? And I got out a whiteboard and summarized it. And just lots of everything is, I think there's I'm sure I missed something, but it's getting to close to the level of saturation, I think. So like this one's extremely popular. Somebody said, can you please explain ray casting versus ray tracing again? And so I get out the whiteboard and I explain it. And this one is very, very popular. It has like, 13,000 hits from all around the world. It's like really popular. So some of them are not popular, but some of them are. Other resources, previous exam revision lectures are on the amazing channel, right? Here is a previous revision lecture, student questions and answers on previous exams. There it is, lecture 18, exam revision lecture. It is 1 hour and 20 minutes of students just asking exam questions and me giving answers. So you are welcome to have a look at that. I can see you're all looking forward. Has anybody tried watching them on 1.5 speed? Yeah. I'm a slow speaker, so you can accelerate the time. I know you're excited for more, so there is more. There it is. Here's another revision lecture. This one is 1 hour and 23 minutes of student questions and answers, all recorded for your educational needs. So those are some things that I encourage you to have a look at to help you prepare for your exam. Any questions about that? And of course, all the lectures are there. So if you're, wondering about something, you can watch a lecture on some of the more difficult topics.
On subject 1.5 speed, you can try doing recording using helium.
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 You mean inhaling helium?
Yeah.
I'll have to try that one time. Yeah. Any questions? Does everybody feel satisfied about the amount of revision lecture or test revision material? Another thing is research papers. So if you're wondering about an algorithm, maybe my explanations are not adequate for you. Maybe you just think, I still don't get it, which can happen. I'm not, it just can happen. So the original research papers are on Blackboard. So for example, if there's a piece of the Marching Cubes algorithm you don't understand, you can download the Marching Cubes paper and read it. That's an alternative modality, learning modality, right? Just reading. And you read at your speed, 1.5 times or 0.5 time. Anybody ever try to slow down my videos? But you read at your speed. Yeah. And you get different diagrams, different drawings, and slightly different choice of words and so on. And I've read them. So before I taught them, I was like, oh, I think I need to understand this better. So I read them to make sure that I understand, before I tried to teach them. Because I didn't understand all the details either before I started to teach them. Any comments or questions? I know you guys haven't really had a chance to think about the revision currently because you've all been studying, courseworks and we've been going for 10 or 11 weeks, I think 10 weeks straight without a break. So I think that everybody's exhausted too. I know I'm very tired, I really, really need a break. So these resources are here at your disposal for when you get a rest and come back in May and you're ready to be amazing. And if somebody does want a special revision lecture, no problem at all. Just give me a call, stop by, send me email, and I can try to schedule a special revision lecture. But before you do that, though, have a look at this material, because I just cannot imagine any questions that I have. Of course, there must be some questions that I haven't answered yet, but there must be like 100 exam questions that I've already answered. Maybe I can answer them better the second time. That's possible. Personally, I think the ones with a whiteboard and chalk are the most helpful. slides are good, and they're very necessary for this particular topic because we see so many images. But it's really nice to see some of the things drawn out on a whiteboard, one step at a time, slowly. Name? Rob.
Will we have to remember any of the algorithms?
Do you have to remember any of them? Yes, all of them.
So for example, for marching cubes and marching squares, we need to remember all the combinations.
Oh, you mean the case table?
Example.
Remember the case table? No, you don't have to recreate the case table. No. Any other questions? I hope I didn't forget anything. And I said this already, this spreadsheet is on Blackboard. I just uploaded the latest version this morning, 2019. Okay, if there are no questions, we can stop and enjoy the rest of your week. If anybody wants a lecture tonight, just let me know.